What's going on, guys? So, we are Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, and let's do our weekly segment that I have been starting up called Is It Bad? So, today's card we're going to talk about is a card that's been played for a while, hasn't been really seen much play as lately. It was more of a card that's played a lot 2 or 3 years ago, and don't get me wrong, people still play it, but it's definitely not something you see on the regular basis. So now that card is Mind Control. Now Mind Control is, activate it, you target a person's opponent's monster, and you get it. And you can't attack with it, and you can't tribute it. So you just kind of have it for whatever you want to do with it. Now, it's a good card to take your opponent's monster, and then you can attack with other cards to get out of the way. It's a good thing to Xyz up. It's a good thing to sync up with it, to get rid of it. But that doesn't always mean you can do that. You have to have the right cards, you gotta have the right things, so it doesn't always mean you can necessarily pull that type of thing off. You can't attack with it, and also it has one major flaw, especially at this point of the game, is it can't be targeted, or a monster can't be targeted, and you have to target with this card. So besides the targeting thing, we'll get onto that, but when you Xyz and sync up, so you might be able to do that, you might be able to play it off, but in this game, there was a while where everybody was playing a lot of level 4s, so if you did Mind Control, there was a good chance you'd have somebody at a level 4, so you could sync up with it if you had a tuner, because no matter what tuner you have below level 5, there's a good options for you to make a synchro if you had a more synchro deck, but if you had an Xyz deck, most of the time it's going to be a level 4 Xyz deck. And while that's still kind of the thing now, like I said, a lot of decks now aren't always about Xyz and syncing up, they just have a big plays, and not all their monsters are level 4s. Sometimes they're level 2s, sometimes they're level 5s, or they do a weird thing, or if they pendulum summon, they're like level 7s and 6s. There's not the typical level 4, so you can't always bank on that if you're playing a level 4 spammier deck, that you can Xyz with it. So it's kind of a hit and miss type of mechanic, because you don't always know if it's going to be a useful card, or a useful card that you can Mind Control with. So it's kind of like, oh, I have this card, so do I have to wait till he uses it? Or what? And you can't attack with it, and you can't be tributed. So if you're playing a deck like that tribute summoned a lot more often, then it doesn't really have, you can't really use it and be like, ah, I gotcha, like you could with other cards like Soul Exchange or something, even though nobody really plays Soul Exchange, but you know what I mean. And so it just kind of blows in that aspect. But like I said, it does work in the aspect if you have a big monster and he can be targeted, you can take it and you can attack your opponent and get rid of his defenses. But that leaves the big wide open thing, is it has to be targeted. And this game, targeting is hit and miss. A lot of monsters' effects have it where you can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. They have a lot that can be destroyed, but you just can't be targeted. So, Mind Control kind of ruins it there, because if you have a big boss monster in the field, and you need to fucking get rid of it, you can't do that. You can't get rid of him, you can't take him. So now you just have this useless spell card, and that's it. So, it's not the greatest option. So this card is necessarily not bad. I would definitely not say it's good. So, is this card bad? I would say it's mediocre at best in this format. Because a lot of cards can't be targeted. There's not as many more decks that have equal amount of, like, how do I word this? You know what I mean, for Xyz, they're not always a deck that is equal to you, so you can't always necessarily overlay for what your deck is, and you can't be tributed either. So, in this form of the game, at this state, it is not a great option. In fact, if anything, I would rather just play Creature Swap if you were worrying about getting rid of opponent's cards. Just, you normal summon a shittier monster and you Creature Swap and they only have one monster on the field, or if they have 2 good ones, they have to give you it and it doesn't target. So, even though Creature Swap's definitely not the same as Mind Control, I would definitely play that over it if you were trying to deal something with getting your opponent's monster on your side of the field. So yep, that's it. Is it bad? It's not great, it's mediocre. But let me know down below what you think about Mind Control. Do you think it's still a good card in this format? Do you think it's, it's definitely not as great as it used to be, but it's still playable, or what? There's a reason why people are probably not playing it right now, but who knows? Maybe there's some awesome combo of something that I don't know about. I will say, if you are a synchro-heavy deck, this card is probably something I would play, but in the grand scheme, it's mediocre. So, let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit like, all that jazz. And I'll see you later.
Damn. Yeah.